women were being held captive there. From the outside, 3520 North Marshall seemed innocuous. But when the officers broke down the door, they were not prepared for the horrors inside. A police spokesman explained,
"We found some what we believe to be human extremities, arms, possibly a knee. We're not exactly sure. That has to be analyzed and looked at further."
The owner of the house was Gary Heidnik, a 43-year-old Army veteran and the founder of a local church. 3 terrified women were also in the house. They had been shackled and chained and were starving and filthy. The police were alerted by Josefina Rivera. She had also been a captive, but Heidnik trusted her enough to let her leave the house occasionally. As soon as she was free, Rivera ran to her boyfriend's house. Together, they phoned the police with an incredible tale of kidnapping, torture, rape, even cannibalism. Police picked them up, then drove to where Heidnik was supposed to meet Rivera. There they found a bearded man sitting in a Cadillac. He was arrested and taken to the sex crimes unit for questioning. Rivera had fallen into Heidnik's clutches in November when he picked her up in Philadelphia's red light district. He took her back to his house and had sex with her, then dragged her to the cellar and chained her to a pipe. She was soon joined by Sandra Lindsay, Lisa Thomas, Deborah Dudley, Jacquelyn Askins, and Agnes Adams. Neighbors began to complain about a foul smell coming from the house. Police investigated. Heidnik said he'd burned his dinner, and the police took it no further. But the smell was actually Sandra Lindsay's head being boiled in a pot. Rivera told police that Deborah Dudley had been electrocuted in a water-filled pit in the cellar. Heidnik then forced her to help him dispose of the body. She led police to a remote spot in New Jersey, where Dudley's corpse was dumped. Rivera and the 3 other women in Heidnik's house were lucky to still be alive. At least one other woman had been killed, dismembered, and her remains either cooked or stored in the freezer. Heidnik had come from a broken home. He joined the U.S. Army in 1961, but 2 years later was discharged for medical reasons. He first settled in Pittsburgh and received an Army disability check of $2,000 a month. Heidnik then moved to Philadelphia, where he haunted the red light district, sometimes taking 3 prostitutes home at once. In October 1971, Heidnik started a church for disadvantaged African Americans. Using his considerable financial skills, he used church funds to make a $500,000 fortune on the stock market. Yet apart from owning several cars, he lived in squalor, turning his house and yard into a garbage dump. In October 1985, Heidnik married Betty Disto, a Filipino woman he'd met as a pen pal. But when he continued seeing prostitutes, Betty left him. Heidnik had always been desperate for children. When arrested, he told police he intended to use his home as a baby farm. His neighbors reacted angrily.
I think he should be chained up like those girls were chained up and not fed like they were. He should get a taste of his own medicine.
As the search for evidence continued, Heidnik's house was literally taken apart. The floor of the cellar in which his prisoners had been held was dug up. The debris was searched for human remains. Heidnik's trial on kidnapping and murder charges began in June 1988. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. After 11 years of appeals, Heidnik went to the execution chamber in July 1999.